So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for.
All right, y'all have to let me know how much of the story you missed. I didn't realize the stream had ended. Sorry about that. Looked like a YouTube issue. I'll wait for a few people to hop back in. Somebody tell me where we cut off. You think you missed all of it? What was the last thing I said, Dan? Last night's live stream, we were talking about a company that approached me. Did you hear the story where I talked about the phone call that I had with them? Okay, Anya says we did get that part. And then I ultimately decided not to promote that company, no matter what they were offering, because I didn't like the financial statements. And then since then, that $3 stock has dropped to $1. So I'm happy with my decision. I think they ended up announcing some dilution about a month after they talked to me, which they did not tell me, but which I saw the potential of in the financial statements, which was kind of why I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to take this deal. I see a need for cash. But anyways, I don't know if people that are reposting me talking about the fact that there's paid promoters, clipped all of that conversation. And the most important thing I want you guys to know is there are paid promoters out there. I have no idea if there's unpaid ones. If they are doing it, they're doing it illegally and they should be prosecuted. Got Discord. Let me open my stock screen window back up. I know that the as far as AMC goes, the main thing people are mad at me about for the last year was saying, look at the balance sheet, and this company needs to raise cash. No matter how much anybody wants to hear that, that is the facts. and they are, and they need to. Speaking of X or Twitter space calls, there was another great one tonight that I was listening to before I came on live for Mullen. And the guy's name that was hosting the call, if you want to go look this up later in your spare time, because the recording's still available, his name is Fud Daddy. And they had Lawrence Harge on, and he was defending himself still. And after he was going on and on and on, they were just letting him talk for about 30 minutes. Then who pops into the call but a guy from Mullen Investor Relations? Ooh, and it got heated there. Got heated there for a minute as they were both accusing each other basically of lying. I have no idea who is telling the truth in that saga. But I've always been a little bit doubtful about Mr. Harge's technology. And when I looked at the reports that he has provided, they don't meet my bare minimum standards for engineering test reports. So I'd like to see real test reports from Harge's black box. And we never have seen them. He says that they've done all the testing and yada, yada, yada. But from what I've seen, doesn't meet the sniff test. Mike, I've reached out to Massalorian several times. He must be busy. Haven't heard back. Mullen has probably by mid-December, a 1 for 100 reverse split coming. The board could pick a number less than 1 for 100, but this is probably their last chance at doing a reverse split. So I don't know. I can't tell you what number they're going to pick. They can do up to 1 for 100. That's on back-to-back after 2 other reverse splits. And I know that I don't own any Mullen. I have 0 position at all in Mullen. But a lot of the investors are saying, we're going to vote against it. I looked at the proxy and I looked at who owns shares. The insiders have about 45% of the vote necessary right now. So only a very small hurdle. Every single retail investor would have to vote against the reverse split for it to fail, from what I can tell. So I would, if I had to bet money, I'd bet that it's going to pass. And I get it. That sucks. Yeah, TF Header, I saw that a firm is going after Mullen. The problem is, I think, for the most part, Mullen is doing everything legally, just like AMC did everything legally. And people are rightfully mad about all of that. But I haven't been able to detect anything other than a little bit of puff piece PR. And when they have that statement in there tucked in at the bottom called a forward-looking statement, that gives them a lot of legal headroom. Unless they're cooking the books, unless they're submitting false information on their 10-Qs to the SEC, I think it would be very hard to sue Mullen. And that's why I always tell you guys, read the 10-Qs, read the risk disclosures, because all of the risks that have happened have been clearly delineated in those. And more importantly, look at the balance sheet and the income statement, because that's how I always knew for Mullen that it was likely not going to end well unless they announced some spectacular production and delivery numbers. And instead of doing that, they keep on cutting. Well, we said we were going to deliver 1,000. Now it's 300. Now it's 120. Make up your numbers. I don't remember what they are. But when you keep on cutting your targets, it's not going to end well. And on top of that, they have built into all of their loans, all of their preferred shares, their whole lender strategy, all these warrants. Thank God AMC does not have any convertible debt. I still hear people talking about AMC is going to be snuffed out by convertible debt. It is not. AMC has zero convertible debt. You can read on the 10Qs in the debt section all of AMC's debt. There are no warrants. There are no convertible debt in AMC. There was a couple, 2-3 years ago. All that got cleaned up. But a lot of times when I'm predicting what's going to happen at 6-12 months out with the company, it's because I'm looking at their debt structure, their capital structure, and I'm looking at convertible debt and warrants, and that is a very easy story to decipher. That's why I want to continue to urge you guys to make that part of your habit. If you're going to be holding something more than a couple days or a couple weeks, if you're going to be holding it months or years, get very familiar with the debt structure, the balance sheet, the income statement. And like I told someone in the comments on YouTube, specific to Mullen, when we are buying companies that are not generating profits, don't call yourself an investor. You're a speculator. We're speculating on future profits. And we must then read the risk disclosures. If you're not reading those in the 10Qs, then you really can't blame anybody else, because all of the risks are always there, where they tell you, don't buy this stock, you're probably going to lose all your money, we're going to need to raise more capital. All of that has been there all the time. So on Mullen, on AMC, on many companies, it's your job as an investor to read that, or as a speculator. And if you didn't read that, then, at the end of the day, the only person to blame is yourself, in my opinion. Sometimes we buy stocks that we know the finances are a wreck because we are anticipating or betting on, speculating on a short squeeze. And if that doesn't happen in a timely fashion, then ultimately the financial statements come to bear. Wall Street will grind it down to the real price. Jeffrey says, smells like up dog in here. What's up, dog? All right. A couple other things. I'll take whatever questions you guys have, but it's been pretty interesting watching this whole deal over the weekend with OpenAI. That is the parent of ChatGPT. The CEO got ousted, Sam Altman, over the weekend. A little bit of the board fired him because I guess they were having some disagreement about the I want to say direction of the company. I don't know if that's the right word, but I guess like the core philosophy of OpenAI was they weren't going to be around they weren't there to generate profits. And I guess Mr. Altman maybe had different thoughts. So the board ousted him. And then another one of his buddies that started the company with him quit. He got kicked off the board, the other buddy. I forget his name. And then later in that day, he quit. So they lost 2 key people at the company. And then over the weekend, investors were telling the board, we want all of you to quit and we want Sam Altman back. So that's a little bit of interesting drama going on this weekend. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with that. These are the 3 headlines you see there in the bottom left. OpenAI shakeup has rocked Silicon Valley, leaving some techies concerned about the future of AI. The follow-up headline says, OpenAI investors push to bring Altman back as CEO one day after he was ousted. Sergeant Beef says he has a ChatGPT account never used it. I've used it once or twice, Sergeant Beef. I have one also. Let me see who's in my driveway. Might be my wife. It is. I don't know. Michael says, are you talking about AI? I don't know if OpenAI, if that is their ticker symbol or if they're even a publicly traded company. Do you guys know? Sergeant Beef, I do not own any gold or silver at the moment. I think about it about once a week, and I got asked this question a lot back in 2021. And let me pull up the metals here. Why is gold not on there? Let's look at silver. What I said back in 2021, you know, gold had a much higher spike. I said I would, for me, like to have it come back to down to some normal level pre. Hold on, I think the wife can't get in the door. Hang on, guys. I would like for it to come back down to where it was before that massive run up in 2021. Give me 1 sec. So yeah, I've owned gold and silver through the GLD and SLV tickers before, but I don't own any right now. When and if it gets cheap enough, and I wouldn't mind buying some again. It's like a 5 to 7 year hold, but I just think I can do better with my cash right now. I don't like buying stuff at the top or close to the top. I get it. A lot of people have different opinions, you know, that they're going to double from here or whatever. Mike says, Tony, did you feed the animals? Yes, I already cleared it with her before we started, Mike. All the animals have been fed. Philip is asking, am I concerned about the quality of movies right now in the future? I am concerned about Q4, Philip. We went over that in the first live stream. My major concern for AMC right now is a bad Q4, and the company is likely to book a loss in Q4 unless something fundamentally changes. Now, I have not gone through and tried to, you know, put some monetization to all the 2024 titles yet. I will do that before the end of this year, and whatever I come up with, I'll share with you guys, but I'm not looking that far ahead just yet. I do, Mr. Premium, play options. In fact, that was the majority of my trades last week. I don't talk about them a lot because, you know how options are. They're very risky, and I don't want to be feeding ideas to people where you got a 50% chance of losing money. The idea is to, you're going to lose some. The idea is to have more winners than losers and have the gains on those winners be big enough that they offset the losers that you have. So I think I need till about December 15th for all the ones that I have in play right now to pan out. I have some call options just naked on different plays. I have some put options in play. And then on some of my positions or positions that I'm trying to get into, if I own the stock, I'm usually selling covered calls on it. And if I'm trying to get into a stock and I've identified the price at which I'd be willing to buy it, and it, below the current price, I will sell cash secured puts on that ticker to collect the premium. And then if it doesn't come to my price, then I just get to keep the premium. And if it goes below the strike price, well, I already knew that I was willing to buy it. Instead of waiting for it to hit that price, I made money and I still ended up buying it. Now, all of those, those strategies have risk. If you're trying to do that with a ticker, let's say AMC, for example, you're trying to buy AMC at $7, so you're selling $7 cash secured puts, and you wake up one morning and there's super bad news and it drops to $4, you're still going to buy it at $7. If it's still, at $4 when your option expires. I'm just using AMC as an example, but every trading strategy has risks. Options are extremely risky, and make sure you know what you're doing before you try and employ any of these strategies. My other plays, if I'm buying puts on something, I'm usually looking for something that is popular in the news. Let's just pick NVIDIA. When NVIDIA ran up, and you might say to yourself, some people are saying to themselves, this ran up too much. I don't own any options on NVIDIA. But some people might say at this level, this is too rich. It's going to have a pullback. I'm looking for stocks that are popular, that I think are a little bit overvalued. And again, I don't have any puts on NVIDIA. I'm just using this as an example. And so I'll pick a few and sell puts for a reasonable pullback, buy puts for a reasonable pullback. And then I'm also looking at different retail stocks that maybe have a lot of, like a Finger, for example. I've been trading options on Finger, and I own shares on Finger right now too. So if I see the chart bottoming out, I might buy call options. I don't have any call options on Finger right now. I bought puts right up here on this push to 8. I made money on the rundown from 790 to 450. And just in the past week, I bought some shares. This is risky, but as it hit this retracement level right in here, I bought shares and I'm selling covered calls against them, which means if it runs up, selling covered calls, you're making money immediately on. If it runs up, it will automatically sell my shares at the strike price. if it's at or above that strike price on expiration. If Finger starts dropping down below $4, I'm going to close out those covered calls, eat it, and dump my shares. Because if it keeps going down, it's going to go all the way back down to $2, $1.20. Very hard to say what's going to happen with Finger in the next 2 weeks. The chart is not super bullish. I'm just taking I like a little gamble play every now and then. Michael says, why did AMC post a profit and then the price go down? All right, so we talked about that on the Twitter space call last night, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about it in the AMC community. But the fact of the matter is, on the income statement, the way they posted a profit was... Maybe I'll do a video on this, but I'm really just not trying to cover AMC because people are psycho in this play. They don't want to hear anything factual. And if you try and cover anything on the financial statements that goes against their deeply held belief that this company is massively profitable and there's no problem on the financial statements or the balance sheet, then, they think you're, I don't know, they want to kill you or they want to take you to court. How dare you have a different opinion than me, sir? You must be paid by somebody. I don't know. Did you look at the balance sheet? No, you probably didn't. The way AMC posted a profit last quarter, remember that little bit of debt that they paid off at a 30% discount? Well, when you get a discount on paying off a debt, you book that on the income statement as a gain. And that they sold just enough debt last quarter to show a positive quarter. So you got that combined with the fact that the balance sheet is still broken, $2 billion plus negative working capital. And like I've been telling you guys for a year in my Discord every week, this company needs to raise about $1 billion in my estimate. And I did not think that they were done with dilution after that first round. Now, the speed in which they did the second one surprised me. I never know the timing on these things, but I can predict that they're likely to happen. I think there will be a third dilution. Just looking at the balance sheet. Look at the working capital. Look at current assets versus current liabilities. It's upside down by billions of dollars. They need to raise cash. The other option is bankruptcy. And they don't have to file bankruptcy now. They can keep diluting, and they will. So that's why the price is under pressure. It's just balance sheet. And then what we hope is next year that the movie roster looks a lot better and that they can start booking legitimate profitable quarters back to back to back to back. I haven't looked that far ahead, so I can't tell you. Sparky, am I wrong about the debt? I think you were one of the ones that commented about that a couple of weeks ago in one of my videos, right? And we talked about it in the space call last night. Yeah, he says, you are 100% correct. See, this is the thing, guys. When I know a lot of y'all aren't CPAs. I'm not a CPA either, but you need to have someone that is willing to not just be relentlessly bullish and tell you we made profits, all is good. You have to dig one layer deeper than that, okay? How did we make the profits? Was it really a profit? And there's nothing illegal about what AMC did. I call it creative finance. They have a great CFO. He knew just how much debt they needed to sell at what discount to make the numbers look good for last quarter. Perfectly legit. But you, as the retail investor, need to look at the income statement, read the 10Q, understand the debt and how the positive earnings is generated so that you can filter through the people that are just hyping, filter through that to the people who are actually telling you how it happened. Then you can make reasonable trading decisions. My whole thesis going into Q4, as we've been talking in the Discord for months, was that I wanted to be out of this play before the Q3 earnings announcement. So I was out. My last bracket, I sold at 11.20. And I made about a 50 to 60% gain in the last month or two on my AMC shares. And now I'm going to get back in, and with the gain I made on those shares, plus the covered calls I sold and the puts that I sold, which none of which ever got executed, I got to keep all that money. I will probably triple my buy when I buy back in. How low is it going to go? I don't know. I kind of like where it's at right now. I hope it doesn't go much lower than that. I don't think AMC is going to... I'd be shocked if they're going to be selling so much to obliterate the price below $5. I don't even think they want to sell it below 8, but they don't talk to me, so I don't know. Sparky says the AMC bonds are now up to 82 cents from 62, and they have to spend more capital now to generate those gains. So it becomes a less effective strategy. Good input, Sparky. Are you a CPA? Or are you just smart? It's good to, even though you don't like hearing some of this stuff, guys, it's good for you to understand it. Oh, he's a credit bond guy. All right. I see Markets with May getting a lot of shit for recommending the bond strategies. They think she's paid also, which is funny. She's mostly been right. PD Harris says, if it were not for the reverse split, we'd not be sitting at 7. I mean, that's debatable. You might be right. The reverse split. Wait, the reverse split. I thought for a second you were talking about the second dilution they just announced. The reverse split didn't help, Mr. Harris. You're right. But at the end of the day, like we've been saying since beginning of this year, the balance sheet at this point is the primary factor. You can't escape a bad balance sheet. If they didn't raise capital, they were going to file bankruptcy. You're not gonna argue me out of that one. Michael says, why did AMC go down on earnings with a profit? We just talked about that. So the profit was kind of a creative financing profit. The profit on earnings was created by the selling of debt at a discount. Remember that 30 million that they sold for 23 million or whatever? If you'll notice, if you go and look at the income statement, The gain they got from that discount on the debt was what created the appearance of a profit on the income statement. Still legit, still fair. They didn't hoodwink anyone, but you got to be able to decipher income statement and how the debt's being traded to understand what's going on there. Yes, Anya, they legally fidgeted with the numbers. Absolutely. The other thing besides the balance sheet concerns that I have, like we've been talking about this entire year, is my concerns over Q3 and Q4 box office. And luckily, I was, excuse me, beer is trying to come up and visit, carbonation. I was incorrect about Q3, which, beautiful. Barbie and Oppenheimer saved our bacon. But Q4 is looking a little bit weak, like we were worried about. So I would expect, we're at 10% short interest right now. I would expect that you will see the short interest go up between now and the end of December as they continue to try and push it down. They'll try and push it down. It'll be up to traders, us basically, to decide if we're going to buy into that selling pressure. And I think that I want to, but I guess I should get off my ass and look at what the 2024 calendar looks like. But we really need the actors strike, or they're still voting on it, right? I keep on seeing these headlines that it's still tentative. So I need to know that that is 100% signed off and approved, and then I need to see all of the dates for 2024 movie releases and then try and put some guesses about what every quarter next year is going to look like. Michael says, do they need to do another offering? And how much cash do they need? I've said since the beginning of this year, they need to raise $1 billion. So this current offering will take us to $700 million. So if 2024 is great, I could be wrong, but I would anticipate one more offering at a minimum. I have no idea on the timing. And the reason for that, the reason I'm saying that is the same reason we've been talking about since this whole debate started, the balance sheet. Even though you think 700 million is a lot of cash, I want you to look at, like every stock when I show you those dashboards, when we look at working capital, that is current assets. It's only two lines you got to look at on the balance sheet: current assets and current liabilities. AMC is negative several $billion dollars, which means they have a deficit in their ability to pay their bills over the next 12 months. So they will, most likely, any company that's in that situation is going to try and raise cash. PD says, how do I feel about popcorn sales, credit cards, and Taylor Swift type movies? Let's take the best one first. If we could have 2 of those concert deals a quarter, or even 1 a quarter, that contribute 200 million extra to the box office, PD Harris, that is fantastic. I think it's ridiculous that people say Adam Aron is not trying to come up with creative ideas to save this company. That is a fantastic testament to the fact that the executives are doing what they can. We got Taylor Swift, we got Beyonce coming up. I can only imagine and hope that they have more planned for next year. They've created a new paradigm, and it's limitless what they can do with that if they can get the right artists interested in it. So I'm very bullish on that. That's the best absolute thing that they've done, hands down. Popcorn over the next 5 years will contribute tens of millions of dollars to the bottom line. I'm not one of these guys that's going to tell you we're going to make $1 billion off of popcorn. It's great now that we have more distribution than just Walmart. That was a great proving out scenario to show demand. And now we have Kroger and Public and Amazon, even though I can't find it from AMC on Amazon. All I see is overpriced resellers. But popcorn every bit helps, but it's not going to save AMC. Candy, same thing. Every little bit helps. They're doing what they can. And these are all great ideas, and I support all of them. It's like your wife taking a babysitting job to help pay some bills. Is it going to get you a European vacation? No, but it'll help you pay the bills. And credit cards, I don't think we're going to make any meaningful income off of that. I think it is more about keeping the consumer involved with AMC, that whole affinity brand marketing type thing, and data mining, so they can see what you're purchasing. I don't know to what extent they're using that, but I'm not counting on any meaningful revenue contribution from credit cards. Maybe we'll get some updates in Q4 if there was, but the fact that they're not talking about it is telling to me. So all great ideas. I'm excited to see management trying new things. They're not just sitting on their hands saying, woe is me, we're filing bankruptcy. They're doing fucking what they can. And anybody that's shitting on that is purposely being negative. But I'm not out there, some of these guys that are telling you that popcorn's going to generate $1 billion or whatever, or Taylor Swift was going to generate $1 billion. Those are the real pumpers. They all blocked me because I just speak the reality. They haven't been right about it very much. They don't like my inconvenient facts. Even though I'm bullish on the company, I'm hopeful for the company. There's still a bit of a mess we need to fix. KJS Ann says, you haven't said that AMC is manipulated. Yeah, I mean, every day you can see that it's being shorted down, KJ. And we've talked many, many times about the fact that I don't like FTDs. I don't like all the tricks that they do with that shit. There is almost certainly some derivative or swap crap going on in some of these plays that we have no insight in whatsoever. And yeah, all of that stuff I do believe exists. I don't talk about it because I don't want to be liable for talking about stuff that I can't prove. If I ever get hauled into court, all I've ever talked about is the Ortex short interest. The ones that should be hauled in court is the ones promoting ideas that they can't substantiate, and they're still doing it today. I don't think there's anything wrong with going to movies, supporting a company, being happy when they have a good quarter, being happy when the stock price runs up, being bullish when the short interest is super high, like 23%. Nothing wrong with sharing your opinions, but people that are sharing opinions that they can't back with anything, I got some questions about that. That's why I've been very consistent since I turned on the camera in July of 2021. I don't give dates. I don't give price brackets. I don't give price targets. And I don't talk about short interest that I can't back up to you guys with actual data. I know you want to believe in other data that is not reported, and I get it. I would too. But I can't talk about that on my channel. That's just my choice. And remember, when Roaring Kitty, Deep Fucking Value, presented his thesis on GameStop, it was not based on synthetics, naked shorts, none of that. It was based on the valuation of the company and the reported short interest. And I'm going to keep saying that. If that was good enough for him, why is it not good enough for me to talk about that? Why do you need people to promote all of these other ideas? Why? Just ask yourself. You're not going to find a video where he ever talked about that. He'd be called a shill right now, just like I am, which I find amusing. He talked about the financial analysis, the balance sheet, his future bullish outlook on the company, that they were not being properly valued at $1 or $2, whatever they were at. I don't know. I wonder what he thinks about all the stuff on all these tickers that is going on out there, all the talk. So if you want the occasional facts, my channel will always be here. If you want the pumpy stuff, for every one of me, there's 50 of those other guys. And it's okay to listen to both. Does not mean that anybody is wrong. I just have tried to lay it out to you. I've tried to lay out to you since July of 2021, what I'm willing to talk about and what I'm not. I was not in this play in July of 2021 for fundamentals, but after interest rates started going up, Thanksgiving 2021, things changed in the market. And then as the balance sheet and the cash position got worn down, and we didn't have another squeeze as we entered the end of 2022, we entered another phase of reality where now fundamentals actually fucking matter. And then APE came, then the lawsuit, then the vote, and da-da-da-da. Yeah. The more shit that happened, the more we needed to pay attention to the financial statements and the filings and understand what was going on. And we called all of that 100% correct to a T on this channel. Even though it was unpopular. I know it's unpopular. Yeah, Chanos is out. Motherfucker. See ya. Kind of warmed my heart. And all the people defending him. Shorts are a necessary component of the market to provide liquidity. All right, I get it, but you know, on the space call last night that I participated in, there were some shorts, including people that were short on AMC, and I can have a emotionless conversation with them. I don't hate these people. I don't hate anybody, but you know, you still want your side to win. I don't short stocks. So I kind of compare it to when you walk up to the craps table and there's that one guy that's betting the don't pass line. You want to win with your table mates that are betting the call line and betting the numbers, and you got this asshole over here making money hand over fist on the don't pass line, betting with the house. Sometimes that's the right play, though. You know, when I go to Vegas or Atlantic City, every time I see these guys raking it in on the don't pass line and I'm losing my money, and then I switch my strategy, what happens next? Every fucking time. As soon as you switch your strategy, the good guys start winning again. So. I watch some of the short channels on YouTube, and they book a lot of wins off of our plays. And but I've also seen them lose in an hour. I've seen them lose, and the videos are out there where they lose $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. These are just kids. Sometimes people in their 20s or 30s. I mean, they got a pretty substantial bankroll because what they do is profitable. But I've seen them lose $500,000 in an hour or a day. I've posted a few of the videos in our Discord over the past couple of years. Not in AMC, but like in an HKD or a Meagle, you know, where they have those run-ups and they're like, oh yeah, this is a great short. And it comes down and they short it some more, or they double their position, and then it has that second run-up that absolutely wrecks them. That type of infinite exposure scares the bejesus out of me. That's why I don't short stocks. But I have been thinking that some of these guys, the ones that are sane, that are not evil, that don't delight in making fun of retail investors, just guys that are traders, like they have a strategy that's different than ours, and they have all of their, you know, their criteria, when to enter, when to exit. I thought it might be interesting to have one or two of them on for like some Q&A once or twice a month, so that we can learn how they think, because I don't know how they think. I mean, I do, but I'd like to dig in deeper, because I think that, you know, if you're mostly a long trader, it's good to understand what these guys are looking for, so you can anticipate when they're going to try and short something. That helps you decide when your exit is if you're long. Do I have any YouTube trophies? No. I think you got to get 1 million subs. I'm way down on that. Michael says, when will oil and natural gas start moving back up? That is not a commodity that I follow, Michael. So I don't like to answer questions that I just have no idea. Anybody in the chat following oil and gas? I mean, I look at West Texas crude and Brent prices once a week or once every 2 weeks, but I'm not trying to anticipate what is going to happen with them. What's up, babe? Yeah.
And it was probably that night I told you.
Maybe.
Probably got Polly and Polly.
Maybe so. Hey, can you go to the... Okay. Did you put a towel down for her? We got an injured chicken. I'm just getting an update from the vet here. Can we talk about this like in an hour? All right. Can you bring me one of these from the small fridge? Top shelf? Thank you. So we had one of the chickadillies got bit. I rinsed her off with water and then hydrogen peroxide and then antibiotics. It's in the bathroom there on the shelf next to the hydrogen peroxide. I think it's Neosporin. You'll have to look. It's that little yellow tube. Yep. No, just the hose outside. The hose outside. I'm not a vet, so I'm getting chastised here. I screwed up. All right, well, good thing you're here now, babe. Yeah, one of the chickens got bit. I closed up the coop last night, and when I let them out this morning, she wasn't in there. So then it's like hunt and search around the yard and figure out if she got eaten, if she got picked up by a raccoon or a possum. And I found her. She was hiding in a corner, all shivering and injured. Something had bit her in the back. So I don't know if it was the dog or if she accidentally got, she was obviously locked out overnight. I don't know when she got injured. Could have been in the middle of the night. Could have been the day before. But anyways, we're treating her now. She didn't get like chomped on really to break the skin, but she's missing a bunch of feathers on her tail end, on her back. And she's scraped up a little bit. What are my thoughts on the GTI dividend situation? So I only have a passing knowledge on that. I'm aware that they issued a restricted share. She didn't bring me my beer, damn it. They issued the dividend in restricted shares, which is a question I posted out on Twitter for any of the GTII experts. Why? Because apparently, right, according to the YouTubers, GTII management cares about you and they want to force a short squeeze. That's the YouTube thesis. Okay, so if they care about you, why did they issue restricted shares? Why not just issue shares? I don't know the answer to that, but it is causing a lot of, I understand from reading social media, it's causing a lot of people a lot of headaches and a lot of anger because they have their dividend, but their brokers won't let them do anything with it. And then the company issued a blanket legal letter that said you should be able to sell these, and everybody's just having a fight with their brokers. It's a struggle. So that'd be my first question. Why did you do a restricted dividend, a restricted share dividend? Hey, babe, can you bring me that beer? Por favor. Other than that, on any stock, I'm just going to say blanket statement in the small fridge, babe. Top shelf, left side. I'm not a big believer that dividends scare shorts, but it's a great strategy, just like it's a great strategy to keep retail engaged if you need them to hold your stock. And just like when they issue these press releases about, we're going to do a share buyback. How many of those have you seen drive the price up? Highcroft, Mullen, looking at you. A lot of these things that the CEOs do are to keep you involved. And so I'm going to call that out for how I see it, just based on experience. And so you'll never hear me talk about an AMC dividend, because I think it's a bit hopium-ish. Anya says, how about a livestock dog? I would like to get a large dog, Anya. I would like to. But I'm not going to leave a dog out overnight. That's the problem. And any of my chickens that have ever been injured, it's usually an overnight type injury. They put themselves in the coop and they go to sleep every night, and then they get locked up. But if I don't always count them, and if they don't all make it back in, and they're just sitting out exposed all night, this is Texas, right? You got coyotes, you got owls, you got raccoons, possums, all sorts of stuff that will take advantage. And chickens can't see at night, so they're kind of helpless. If they don't make it back in, it would be surprising if they survived. Are there any dogs that protect chickens? Sure. That's a good idea. Yeah, put that heating pad down and let her put that heating pad down and let her stay warm on it. Like 4 hours. Anya, any livestock dog would be good. During the day, the cats are out there, and I don't know if the cats would protect the chickens or not. I mean, they are protective of the yard in general, but like if a hawk swooped in, I don't know if the cats would sit there and watch the show, or if they'd run over and try and swat the hawk out of the sky. But a lot of people buy something like a what's that very well-known livestock dog? I want to say a Newfoundland, but I don't know if a Great Pyrenees is a good livestock dog. Or having a rooster is good too, but I can't do that because I have neighbors, and the roosters are noisy. All right, y'all want to talk some Elon Musk? Anybody? I know some of y'all aren't on Twitter, but Elon Musk got himself in a media frenzy here in the past week. And now he's threatening a thermonuclear lawsuit against Media Matters, this what they call a media watchdog. And I saw him tweeting out that, I'm just paraphrasing what he said, but he basically said all of our major advertisers are against free speech and we hate them all. I was like, really? Like, don't you need these people, Elon? That's kind of a harsh tweet there, buddy. Elon Musk lashed out at Media Matters and unspecified large advertisers on Friday as brands paused their spending on Twitter. He made some tweet. I never saw his tweet that he made, but it was in the past few days. Something to do with what's going on with Israel and Hamas and he made some tweet about that. And then they're also mad, as I'm reading the second bullet point, it's coming back to me. Some of these major brands were mad that their ads were being shown alongside pro-Nazi posts or other hateful posts. Like, I mean, I don't know the algorithm that Twitter has. Like, it's really, really irritating to me. First of all, the amount of ads that are on Twitter, I block all of them, but it never stops. It's like they have a vomit of ads coming out when you're trying to read Twitter. And I don't know. I mean, are they even looking at what people are posting? Or are they just like every 3 posts as Tony's scrolling, put an ad in there? But apparently, you know, these advertisers, if you say something they don't like, they don't want your ad, they don't want their ad shown next to your post. I don't know if Twitter can control that. So yeah, a lot of these large brands are dropping, pausing their advertising on Twitter, which is not helpful to Elon Musk. And on top of that, Tesla owners, this whole Elon Musk is wild and untamed narrative is coming up again. And they're using that again to say, this is going to hurt Tesla. Tesla is going to crash back down to $100 because Elon is in the media again, and it's not good. I don't know. I'd love to see Tesla pull back to the point where I feel comfortable buying it. But I have no idea if that's going to happen. Looking for my smoker. So those are the things that I'm thinking about as I've got a passing interest only in his thermonuclear lawsuit. I'm more interested in, is this going to spill over into Tesla? That's really what I want to, and is any monetary problems that he has with X going to affect his other brands? That's what I want to hear your guys' input on. Are you thinking about that? Are you worried about that? Do you think it's going to happen? Is that just people being too bearish? Who has paused their ads on Twitter? Apple, Comcast, Disney, IBM, Lionsgate, Paramount, Warner Brothers, among others. And I also saw that, as it mentions in this next paragraph, on the desktop version of Twitter, at least, they are now offering a premium plus Twitter experience, which you can pay extra for and avoid the ads, which I would do. But half the time I'm not looking at Twitter on my desktop. So Elon, if you're listening in, let us know when you get it on mobile devices. Because I'm not going to pay for something that's only on desktop. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you have to go to the desktop to sign up, and then it affects all of your Twitter. I need to go down that rabbit hole on Monday, I guess, and figure it out. Last week, Musk agreed with a post falsely claiming that the Jewish people have been pushing dialectical hatred against white people. Musk called the anti-Semitic post the actual truth, prompting a backlash from brands. Musk said the Jewish people have been pushing hate against white people. I mean, Are Jewish people not considered white? I don't know, genuinely. I'm just asking. I don't spend a lot of time getting into this whole race drama bullshit. What? Someone who's Jewish, tell me, like, if you fill out a form, what box do you check? I honestly don't know. Why would Jewish people be pushing hate against white people? I just don't get it. Anya says the Nazis didn't think so. Well, there is that, right? I guess maybe, Anya, the distinction is there is race and then there is religion, right? What is Jewish considered? Is it a race or is it a religion? And forgive me, I don't know the answer to everything. I'm asking for you guys' help. Am I concerned with it, Philip? Only to the extent that how is it going to affect his finances, and is there going to be any spillover into Tesla? That's how I'm interested in this topic. So Philip says on the boxes you check white if you're Jewish. That's what I would expect. So maybe I need to. Anti-Semites consider Jews a race, Anya says. Let's see if we click on this, if we can see his post. I don't even understand this. He claimed that Jewish people have been pushing dialectical hatred against white people. Let's see if we have it. Anti-Defamation League. I'm not a big fan of them, just in general. So those of you that have been following this closely, did you interpret his comment as a blatant expression of Jew hatred? Or was he lashing out against one segment, like the ADL? I honestly don't know. But they're talking about here the anti-Jewish hate crime has spiked across the country. Yeah, I mean, it has, but I don't think it's because of Elon Musk. It's because of what's happening in Gaza right now. You've seen the protests around the world. And isn't it funny? I know we don't talk politics here a lot. It's not really a political discussion. But isn't it funny how all these well-organized protests popped up globally at the same time? There's certain things that I find odd. George Soros. Let's keep the people upset and fighting against each other. $17.96 Patriot says, I find it hard to believe that Elon is at all anti-Semitic. That is my core reaction. Not being an expert in this topic, I would, at a gut level, agree with that statement. I'd have to spend a lot more time digging into it to see, but I think I've seen other people defend him and saying he's definitely not. So, but people will never miss an opportunity to throw you under the bus. If you say something just a little bit sideways, they can use against you. Jersey Recycler says it's just Elon being stupid. He does tend to make a lot of brash statements. There's a lot of parallels, I think, between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, right? You might you might like their general strategic direction, but sometimes when they say something, you're kind of like, ugh, why? Why did you say that? Jersey Recycler says all the Elon drama will push the shorts into Tesla. Now, as someone, I don't think I have any Tesla right now. I was going to say, as someone who doesn't own any Tesla, I'd love to see the price get knocked down over something arbitrary and temporary like this, because I'm wanting to get back in. But let me just check and make sure if I bought any in the past couple of weeks. I honestly don't remember. It's on my like watch list. I'm looking at it 20 times a day. Much like Palantir, like I keep on fucking up and not buying the dip because I think it's going to dip a little more. I can't remember if I took a nibble on Tesla. No, I don't have any Tesla right now. So yeah, I mean, if it comes crashing down, I will be a buyer. $17.96. Are you saying people are just waiting for Elon or Trump or Tony Denaro to say something to use it against them, even if they got to twist it a little bit? Yeah, I can relate to those gentlemen. But Elon, man, I don't know. I think Elon and Trump both are on a whole nother level than me. I do my best to try not to be mean. And Donald Trump, he don't give a fuck. If it's on his mind, he's just gonna say it. Which in a way, I respect somebody that just says whatever they think. But good Lord, man, as a leader of a country, as much as I liked his strategic direction, you got to have a little, just a shred of empathy. I'm not a leader of a country, so I can say what I want, but as a YouTuber, I know no matter what I say, half the people aren't going to like it. So I have to be aware of that. I'm happy to have offline discussions with you guys over a beer about politics, but I try not to do it on this channel. Because whatever I say, whether I support Trump or I don't, which I do, if we get into those topics, half of you aren't going to like it. And so, hey, I live in Austin. Half my friends don't subscribe to my political beliefs, and we all get along fine because we don't talk politics. We talk about things we have in common. And that, I think there should be more of that in this country. Focus on the humanity of each other. What do you have in common? We don't all need to be fighting about everything. That's why I quit Facebook. I'm just sick of that. Sick of the drama. Sick of the bullshit. Sick of the fighting. Why would I support the Orange Man? Juicy, for his general sense on what needed to be done economically and militarily. And I will readily admit that he has a very... there's no doubt a lot of what he says is incendiary and hurtful to people. And I don't like that part of it. I don't think a president should act like that. And I don't know if the Republicans will have a candidate that can fix that in the next election, that can have the same political strategy, economic strategy, military strategy without being so offensive. I haven't picked for the next cycle, which candidate I'm supporting. Yeah, Juicy says what you just said about the president should not be is the main reason I don't like them. I don't disagree with you. I'm never going to defend that type of behavior. As the leader of the country, you gotta be a bridge builder and have some empathy. All right, the Fed, the Federal Reserve. We had that massive run up last week after the news on the core price, CPI, and Barron's is telling us investors should beware the Fed could dash rate cut hopes. Did we get too far over the skis last week? Investors should curb their enthusiasm about a pivot, given sticky inflation and the economy strength. Are you guys feeling that prices are coming down yet? I'll tell you what, I went to the grocery store today and I think I bought 5 items and it cost me $114. I'm not feeling like inflation's coming down. I bought some ribeye steak, the value pack, bought some paper towels, and a couple different 6-packs of beer. Oh, and some lunch meat. $114 for like 5 or 6 items. I'm like, holy fuck, man. I'm not feeling like I don't buy a whole lot of other stuff. Occasionally gasoline. I don't drive a lot, so I don't spend a lot of money on gas. I don't even know what gas costs right now. But I feel it when I go to the grocery store. In my area, Sparky, housing is ridiculous. I posted a picture of a house in our area it looked like a little shack, and it was $1.5 million or something ridiculous like that. But I think we can all agree, right, that the housing market reset is coming, and these are things, on a macro level that I'm looking at, like the housing bubble still has a little more bursting to do. And the auto market, there's a few YouTubers that I follow that report on what's going on at the car auctions and the used car lots and the new car lots. And they're still saying it's going to get worse. So I don't think we're out of the woods yet, which is why, for my overall portfolio on my large account, I'm still about 45 to 50% in cash. If there is a major market crash, I've already got identified everything that I'm going to buy. And hopefully you guys are thinking about doing the same thing. Like, I think if you're fully invested right now, you've got a coin toss on your risk. And if you got a long-term outlook and you want to ride, and it crashes and you want to write it down and wait a few years for it to recover, that's fine. But I want to have my cash ready to go so that if the crash happens, I'm gonna shoot the wad. I'm gonna take all that cash and buy all the blue chips that I've had my eyes on. And then on the other hand, if that doesn't happen, if we start running, then I'll just be selective about where I deploy that, and I'll put it to use. But I personally, I'm very conservative in my investing style. I don't want any margin right now. I have no margin, and almost half my accounts in cash, because I would be, I would just be, it would crush my soul if I was fully invested and the market dropped 20, 30, 35, 50%. And I have, no stack of cash ready to drop in there. I want to time that bottom, snatch it up. I saw what's his name? Graham Stephan did a pretty interesting video a couple days ago about that we may. I think he was trying to. Who was the gentleman he was referring to in his article? Patrick. I can't remember his name. Someone had made a video about maybe the stock market's about to just soar because of the inflation that we're experiencing. I think Graham was kind of like saying, I don't know if I agree with that. But what a fantastic, for my background, my degree is in economics. So this nerdy crap fascinates me. I don't have all the answers. Nobody does. Not even a professional economist knows exactly what is going to happen. We all have our ideas. I'm telling you, my idea is I'm being conservative and keeping cash ready to buy if it crashes. Not everybody believes that, and that's fine. But I'm curious what you guys think. Like, are you fully invested? Are you worried about that? Are you hedging with some downside index plays just in case? Are you buying metals because you think that's going to run up? The stock market crashes. What are you doing? Jersey Recycler says food prices are sky high. Yeah. Anya says price of veggies and tofu have been very stable. Anya, for people that are doing keto, if you can stick to those cheap proteins and a lot of green veggies, you can still feed yourself relatively cheaply. Yes, babe. How much does she weigh? 1 pound maybe, or less than a pound? Yeah. She's tiny. She seems like she's in pain, right? She seems like she's in pain.
That obviously hurt. Like, if that was your back,
I'd be in pain, yeah, if that was my back. She's going to dose the chicken with some painkiller. Show us the chicken. Anya, no. She's not, if I pick her up right now, she's usually like the friendliest, happy chicken. She talks to you. And she's not scared of people. But if I pick her up right now, she's very upset. So I think she is in pain. Even though she has no like visible, babe, she has no like visible deep skin injuries. She has no like through the skin injuries, right?
I think there's one like.
But I mean, she wasn't massacred. She just lost a lot of feathers and scraped up on her back, right? Which is probably not.
Like, I don't know. If she ever. I was trying to look around, and it looks like how the bunnies bird up, not letting anything happen to it. Happening.
Feathers.
So not gonna remove those feathers and try.
Yeah.
From what I can see, I can't see a hole. I don't know if it's from one of her hair follicles or if it's a bite wound, but she definitely has got bit. It almost looks like her tail.
Guys, give me 1 second, all right? I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry. She's asking me about how to calculate a dose. What is it? Mgs per kg? Not my forte, babe. Milligrams per kilogram. I know some math, but that veterinary metric math, not my forte. Patriot says, probably doesn't feel good to get your feathers ripped out. Yeah, I'm sure it does not. I think she's trying to figure out on her calculator the conversion for milligrams per kilogram. She'll figure it out. How many milligrams per kilogram? How many milligrams per kg is she supposed to get? Oh, you already got it? 0.04. All right. Let me see. That much?
I just run. I think she's slightly. I'm gonna. That's about the sizing that.
Caleb, what's up? He says, I wish someone would put, what does that say? put out a playlist teaching you to translate it into English. What are we talking about, Caleb? Oh, are we talking about options? Sparky says, I always wanted to know how much drugs you can give a chicken. Chickens, a lot of times, don't do well with injuries. And we've only lost, in 3 years, we've lost 3 chickens. One was out overnight, and a possum got her. That was our first chicken, and her sister got a respiratory infection, which is very common in chickens, and they don't show any distress almost until it's too late. So my wife took her to the hospital she works at, and they tried putting her in an oxygen tank and medicating and all that, and the chicken died like within an hour of getting at the veterinary hospital. And since then, those are the only 2 we've ever lost. All of the other 8 we've had for the last couple of years have all been healthy and happy and fine until tonight. But at least this one is not dead yet. And she's eating and drinking and didn't look to have any crushing bite injuries, just got all her feathers yanked out on her backside. I have no idea. I've never been through this, Anya, so I don't know if that type of trauma can eventually, cause some sort of shock and kill them. We'll find out. I just treat them like chickens, Anya. My wife treats them like they're her babies. So. Caleb says, I don't buy options because I don't know how and it be gone. That's a good strategy, Caleb. For any of you that are interested in options, I do have a playlist on options, which I'm very, interested in expanding that playlist, but I need you guys to watch those videos and then ask me questions. And I have several members in the Discord that I've spent time on like one-on-one phone calls with or conversations, and they still don't get it, which is fine. Look, options, to become good at it. Hey, babe, a little loud in there. Even when you trade options or you're starting to learn it, it's still going to be complicated. That's normal. So don't feel bad about that. But watch the videos, ask questions, and then where I was going with that topic is there are a couple folks that have said maybe we need to have like an online training session where you can present some material and then let us ask live questions and answers. And I think that would be an interesting way to do it too. And I'm good with doing that. But the biggest problem I have with reading books on options or watching some of the other videos that are out there is people will make like a 30 to 60 minute video on options, which I think, thinking back to when I started learning them 30 years ago. You kept the syringe, babe. Or all of the people that I've taught to do options over the last 3 decades, I remember their confusion. And I think that you need to take the chunks of what you learn very, very small. So get familiar with the terminology, start paper trading call options. Just do one thing. Or start paper trading. And I have a great paper trading website that I want to share with you guys in maybe a future video, but you can also do it in most of your brokers that offer paper trading like Webull or I think TD Ameritrade had one. I don't know about Schwab. Just if you think, okay, I sort of get it. Now let me experiment with fake money, paper trading, and for a few months, just paper trade, something basic. Like, okay, I think, let's just pick a ticker. I think GameStop's earnings in 3 weeks are going to be bullish and the stock's going to go up. So I'm going to paper trade some call options. Try it out. Learn without wasting your money on a paper trading account. That is probably be my best recommendation. Do not just jump in because some YouTuber told you can make a lot of money on options. I'm telling you, you're probably going to lose 50% of them. And if you don't lose 50% of them, you're going to lose one that wipes out, most of your money. So ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. I've done all the challenges, guys. Back in the pre.com era, I had my 401k, I had my mutual funds, I had my granted stock options from my company. I had plenty of money. So my fun was taking my personal account and just trading options. And you could not get it wrong pre.com era. You could buy any tech stock prior to earnings and usually make 100 to 500% in a couple days. And that strategy worked really, really well as an options trader until you were fully invested and the dot-com crash happened and all your positions got wiped out. So after that learning experience, and that's the reason why I'm doing YouTube now, not because I know everything, but all the mistakes you're going to make, I've already made them. And you think I'm conservative, it's because I've already made all the fucking mistakes. And I've learned that options trading should, if you like that gambling, speculating aspect, it should be a percentage of your account, a small percentage. I think people that are, unless you're just a whiz kid, I'm not a big fan of making your primary trading just options. Like eventually that shit's going to catch up with you. I had another time, I don't remember what year, maybe about 10 years ago, where I said I'm going to do a 30-day challenge, just trading options. And you can guess how that ended up by the 30th day. For the first few days, oh man, it went bully. But if you're taking all of your gains and rolling that in and betting all that money on the next play, eventually your number is going to come due. You're going to get wiped out. So unless you have the luck of the gods or the intelligence of Warren Buffett to never get a play wrong. I'm just kidding. He gets plays wrong. You're going to get wiped out if you're betting your entire portfolio on consecutive options plays. Just take a percentage of your account, 1%, whatever number you pick. And if you lose, you lose, but you didn't wipe out everything. And then you take 1% the next day or the next week, whenever you see the right setup. I don't ever feel compelled to trade options every day. Last week I traded a shit ton of them. Sometimes I trade index options. Sometimes I'm trading individual stocks. But I'm always looking for the right setup. I don't ever feel the pressure to I got to trade today. Or I got to trade options today. She took the medicine good? Was she crying or mad that you were picking her up?
I didn't pick her up.
Okay.
Comfortable. I thought about picking her up, but then I just got her back so I could see. Water on my finger after. harder to get.
Very good.
That medicine can only be given once a day.
Okay.
However, she can be rinsed off.
All right. Well, you give me all the instructions when we wrap up here. We're almost done. What time is it? 10:30? We've been going 2.5 hours. We'll go like 24 more minutes, guys. 10:36.
I'm fucked.
Hoddle, what's up? He says no more AMC Moon. Mr. Hoddle, the venerable Mr. Hoddle. I'll tell you what I said at the beginning of the first live stream before we got cut off and had to restart. Look, this is just Tony Denaro, how I look at squeeze plays. I need to see greater than 20% short interest for me to talk to you about potential squeeze play. And we're at 10%. That's just how I do my channel. That doesn't mean I'm right. And like I always tell everybody in the comments that ask me that question, I've seen plenty of tickers run up with 3% short interest when FOMO happens. So literally anything could happen, but you're not going to hear me talking right now about any short squeeze on AMC because according to Ortex, it's in the exchange reported short interest, it's around 10%. But I do expect that short interest to climb over the next 6 weeks. So will we get to 20% again? Stay tuned. I did not. Yeah, Anya says paper trading options is a good idea for us not knowers. Give it a try, Anya. I mean, you got nothing to lose paper trading. And then it could also, you know, I know you're one of the ones that's interested in it. By paper trading and either, you know, making money on paper or losing, then you can generate some questions back to me. And I'd love to answer those questions for you. Thoughts on AMC OBV? I'll just tell you my general thoughts on OBV in general, RA, and it's not a popular narrative. Are you sure you want to hear my thoughts on it? I'll give you a chance to say never mind. But I will shoot you straight on my opinion if you really want to hear it. And it's not specific to AMC. It's just specific to OBV. Damrick, what kind of percentage gain? He says he trades options every day. What kind of percentage gain is kind of like your target? Are you looking for like 20%, 30%? 5 to 15 minute trades. And are you paying commission on the options? 2 questions for you. All right, RA's not answering. Oh wait, maybe I need to switch to chat to make sure I can see all the messages. I had it on top chat, not all. Sparky says the chicken has become comfortably numb. I hope so for her sake. So OBV, I have a video on my channel on OBV, which I would encourage all of you to watch and leave a comment on if you agree or disagree or if you learned something. But my general thoughts after studying OBV is I'm not very happy with people that push out the message on any stock that say OBV says that nobody's selling. Why do I say that? Let's talk about how OBV is calculated. And I don't know, maybe some of y'all know this, maybe some of you don't. But on balance volume is calculated if it's, you see these volume candles here? Let me pull up OBV. As one of the things we want to look at and let's get rid of RSI MACD. Just look at OBV. All right, when you have let's do the AMC chart. All right, this is the AMC. Yeah. June of 2021. See how the volume has been really, really low for basically the last 2 years until lately. But we had this massive green candle here, but really we go to the daily back in June of 2021. We had several days where we had massive green candles on the volume, which means that it closed positive for the day, right? If you got a green candle here, that means you closed up compared to the day before. All of the volume is added to the OBV. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green adders, and still here 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 green volume days that pumped this OBV up with massive volume. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red volume candles. You can see where the dips are. OBV is never going to go down until you have volume on a red candle day, red candle on volume, that exceeds these days. So even though people are selling slowly over the last 2 years on very low volume days, you're never going to see OBV go down, OBV being down here, because you got a green candle, a red candle, green, red. This is going to make it look flat because every other day they're offsetting each other. So you can't ever get any change in OBV, any meaningful change, if you're looking all the way back to 2021, where these massive spikes in OBV happened. Look at this. And I probably got to switch my candle. But what I would say is on any squeeze stock where you had some massive volume, I would only look at OBV if you exclude the squeeze days. So you can, then OBV becomes a little more valuable, tells you a little bit more detailed information. You can see that it's moving up and down if we're just looking at the past couple weeks. This is showing selling, right? But if I zoom all the way out and include 2021, it's still going to look flat because compared to that massive volume that pumped OBV up, it's misleading. And that goes for any squeeze stock. Just don't include the squeeze days in your OBV and then we're cool. I have a big problem with people that entice or encourage or pump investors into staying a play using a pump chart from 2021 saying OBV showing nobody's selling. That is false. So on my video, I give you a couple of other indicators to use that are better barometers of what is happening in selling. OBV, Anya, is called on balance volume. On a green volume day, on a day where the price closed higher than the previous day, all the volume is added to the OBV indicator. If it was a red day where the price closed lower, where you see these red candles for the volume, then OBV goes down by a commensurate amount. The problem is, normally on a stock, the volume is tiny, but on a squeeze day, you get these tremendous spikes in volume that spike up OBV. And so if you're trying to look back, it can have this impression. People will say, look, it's flat. No one's selling. Not true. The price going down tells you that there's selling pressure. And you can only see it if you zoom in to a daily and exclude the 2021 price action volume. So I don't use the OBV at all. You'll never hear me talk about it. I think it is very misleading, and it makes me very angry, the people that pump that shit out on any stock, not just AMC. You'll notice that people that pump OBV, every single one of them will include a chart that starts in like January of 2021, because that is the only view that will support their narrative. Imagine if they showed you this. Imagine if they just showed you the last 3 months. Does that tell you no one's selling, or does that tell you people are selling? Down, 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 down. Very clear selling is happening if you zoom in. And I don't like that type of misinformation. And I don't know if these people are just ignorant. They don't understand how OBV works. They don't. Or are they trying to feed you a narrative to mislead you purposely because they need you to hold or buy the stock? I don't know what their motives are, but I don't like it. Feel free at any time to share my video. Anytime you see someone mention OBV on Twitter, I'd love to have a discussion on it. I've invited many people to talk about it. Not one has ever taken me up on it. Caleb, the Discord is free for anybody that's just supporting the channel in general. So I don't look at it as like I charge for the Discord. The Discord is just the same conversation we're having here, but about 20 hours a day. So if I'm not live, we're having these honest talks in the Discord. I'm not giving you plays. We'll talk about plays. Everybody is. And we'll analyze them, the good and the bad. But it's mostly just unvarnished, realistic traders and people that want to learn. If you are supporting the channel, because I provide a lot of tools, Ortex, a lot of news sites, Fintel, all of that costs money. The cheapest is $5 a month. The join button on YouTube or Patreon. Either one, both get you the same. If you're supporting the channel, you have free access to the Discord. And it syncs up automatically. And these guys that have the badge next to their name, they can ask them if it's worth it or not. If I'm in there participating or not. I always have Discord on. If I'm awake, I'm watching the Discord. It's not an entertainment channel for me. I'm not trying to entertain people 20 hours a day in the Discord. I'm doing research, or I'm doing trading, or I'm making videos. But I always, like right now, I have the Discord open. I know Discord gets a bad rap because people think you're trying to grift or you're trying to sell people stuff. My wife bitches, complains, sorry, every day. Like, why are you spending so much time helping these people? Well, I mean, they are paying for it, first of all. But if I was doing that for free, 20 hours a day, it would not be allowed in this house. I'll tell you that. The amount of time that I'm spending talking to people would not be allowed in this house. And our Discord's small because I'm not pumping out plays, and I'm not it's not a meme trading Reddit hopium pump Discord. It's for real traders, people that are tired of losing money. So we talked about Elon. We talked about the Fed briefly. I don't think we finished the Fed topic. Talked about OpenAI. We talked about AMC. We talked about the paid pumpers and my Twitter space call. Do you guys have any other questions? Talked about my thoughts for Q4 on AMC and how I'm playing it. I was very interested also, just not stock related, but watching this F1 in Vegas. First of all, because up until now in North America, Austin, Texas has been the only place where you could watch an F1 race. We have a track. We have a dedicated F1 track right outside the city here. And I try to go to it from time to time, but they're daytime races, and it's fascinating to me that F1 was in Vegas. And it's also fascinating to me to hear all the complaints that I'm seeing about prices and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, we've been living that, buddy. We've been living that for a decade now. When F1 comes to town, everything gets ridiculously expensive. But even worse, can you imagine F1 in the middle of Las Vegas? At least ours is outside of town, so it's not an inconvenience, but every hotel's sold out. Every restaurant and bar downtown, they have these what I call fake F1 menus. We went to a bar and hookah lounge one time during F1 weekend. Not because I don't even know if we went to F1. Hey, babe, do you remember was I with you when we went to that hookah lounge after F1? And it was super expensive? Yeah, I was with you. Because I didn't smoke hookah before I met her. We went to a hookah lounge downtown, and it was like double the price on the hookah and the drinks. I'm like, what is the deal? Like, we've been here before. This is not your normal price. Oh, it's F1 weekend. So they're just freaking gouging people. And I'm sure Vegas was the same way. Hotels, restaurants, bars, taxis, everybody adds a freaking surcharge. Why? Because they can. Because of just the demand and the crowds is overwhelming. You got millions. I don't even know how many people. We probably double our population for 3 days. And I'm sure Vegas was the same way. But they'll figure it out if they keep on doing this. I mean, Austin was bad in the beginning, the first year or two. And then, everybody kind of realized that if you gouge people too bad, that doesn't work. They just won't use your service or your restaurant. I was really laughing at one guy in Vegas on Twitter. He's like, I'm in Outback, and it's right on the strip, and we have a view of the race, and I don't understand why this restaurant is empty. Bro, nobody in this world is flying to Vegas that follows F1 with the budget to follow F1 and to be in Vegas to go to fucking Outback Steakhouse. Like, let's be real. I found that humorous. They are in the best restaurants, and they're probably paying double. $17.96. All right, let's see your question. What about the imbalance between shares bought and shares sold? Hardly ever is it shares sold over shares bought. I see people posting the imbalance on a daily basis, Patriot. And I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. to be honest. I'm guessing your point is the people that you're listening to are showing you a chart. Let me just guess, right? I don't know. I'm going to guess that you're listening to people that are showing you a chart that there's more buying than selling. And if that is the case, I'm going to reply that more than likely the data source they're using is broker specific, not market specific. And they might not realize that, and you might not realize that. And that the majority of the trades are probably happening in the dark pool, making their data that they're showing you irrelevant because it's a fraction of the overall volume. They might not realize that. I don't think they're trying to be dishonest to you. Maybe they are. Or maybe they just don't know. At the end of the day, guys, on every stock, the price tells you where the volume is, what's happening. If the price is going down, there were more sales, more sell orders than buy orders. There was more sell pressure. I hate when people say there were more buys than sells. Every buy has a sell, every sell has a buy. That, Daisy. So, I just go by the price. I don't try and worry about showing you 50 charts to try and explain why something doesn't make sense. The price is going down. There was more sell pressure that day. And again, I'm going to say what I've been saying for a long time. If you are buying and holding, you are an observer to that day's activities. Buying and holding does nothing. The people that are trading that day, if 90% of the float is locked up and 10% is trading, the 10% that is trading will set the price direction for that day. You are an observer for whoever came to the game that day. And that is unfortunate, but that is factual. The good thing about buying and holding is the more that we lock up the float, right, the more volatile your moves can be, depending always on who shows up that day. And right now, I feel like retail is mostly out of money. We don't have stimmy checks. And we're very nervous. We're very nervous in a lot of these plays. And the companies aren't helping that because they're reverse splitting and they're diluting, which they need to do, unfortunately, because they don't want to get bumped down to the OTC and they don't want to file bankruptcy. So the companies are doing what they're having to do. And I think it's legitimate for you to be cautious about where you buy in. That's a valid concern. I'm doing the same thing. But these problems for any company, pick your ticker. If it's under pressure, if it's being shorted, if the price is being driven down, when will these things change? Go back and watch the video I did a year ago, 6 months ago, on does every reverse split cause companies to go down? I forget what I titled it. Or reverse split's always bad. I think that's what it was. And I did a search and I did a filter for companies the size of AMC that did reverse splits, and I looked at all of them without filtering anything out to you guys. And we looked at what percentage of them went down, stayed flat, or went up. And the one thing that all of them that went up had in common, and some of them did go up, is they fundamentally changed their financial situation. So I'm just going to say the fundamentals at the end of the day matter. The financials matter. And what AMC needs to do is fix the balance sheet and get to profitable quarters, and then the story can change. Until then, we're relying on luck, and I try not to trade on luck. And I'm not going to hold anything and watch it melt down to zero. I've watched too many of y'all and too many different tickers. All right, baby. She said our time's up. I've watched too many of y'all and too many tickers put draw a line in the sand and say zero or hero, baby. I'm not going to ride my portfolio to zero. I'm not going to ride any play to zero. I can fight market corruption as long as I still have the willpower and the excitement to do it. And if I got wiped out, how many people do you think that get wiped out are going to stick around? None. They're going to say the market's rigged. I'm done. I'm never trading again. You hear it all the time on YouTube. It might be rigged, but these people that are making those videos are also buying companies that have no earnings, negative revenue, wrecked balance sheets. You're buying companies that are highly risky, highly speculative. And until you can admit that to yourself, you can't blame the market. Look at what you're doing. Build a portfolio of profitable companies and then have some fun like I do with a small percentage of your portfolio in the short squeeze plays, the speculative plays, the options trading. Why do I sleep at night? Why am I never upset? Because whatever I lose in any play, I can make up the next week. If something runs like AMC did in June of 2021, that's a bonus. But I'm never going to be upset by what I lost in AMC because I didn't bet my entire portfolio on it. And I want you guys to hear this message. And if it's too late, that's I empathize. I understand. I wasn't around when most of y'all bought in May and June of 2021. And my channel is here because I was angry at Matt and Trey. And yeah, there was a legit chance at a second squeeze all of 2021. We didn't get it, and then the market changed against us, and then AMC's cash burned out, and now we're in 2023. We're about to be in 2024, and you need to be paying attention to the financial statements. That's just a reality. I know it's not a popular message. It's never a popular message in any ticker I've ever covered. Going back, BBIG, MMTLP, Finger. Gosh, go back and look at my channel. Go look at the comments. Neo 2 years ago. Look at the comments of the people that say I'm full of shit, I'm ridiculous. And where are all these stocks at now? Why did I make those videos? Because I looked at the financial statements. It's very easy to see what is going to happen if you don't get lucky. At some point, if you hold a stock long enough, the fundamentals fucking matter. I'll still be here. People can hate me all they want. They can be mad all they want. I'm not wrong. We're not in 2021 anymore, Dorothy. Patriot says he says, I agree, but I'm also convinced there are a significant amount of fake synthetic shares. I'm not going to try and talk you out of that, Mr. Patriot, because you 100% could be right. I don't disagree with you, right? I want you guys to hear that. I never have disagreed with the fact that those could potentially exist. That's why I stayed in the play and lost money. I made a fuck ton of money in June of 2021, and then I kept buying. I made money on AMC call options. I rolled that immediately into Bitcoin and Ethereum and made more money. You can go back and look at the charts. Those ran up right after. I probably 9x'd my account in a month. So there was zero chance I would ever lose money in AMC. I kept buying. shares in 2021. And yes, I lost money on those shares. If you're buying at $30 or $40 and selling at $8, you're going to lose money. But I wanted to see what would happen. It didn't work in our favor. And thank God Ape came along, and the arbitrage and the opportunity to buy Ape for $1 and then sell it for $2.40 or whatever it ran to. That helped me minimize my losses. And I'm trading it smart now, not trading it by what all the pumpers are telling you to do, the buy and hold strategy. I'm not. Maybe that'll work, and if it starts running, I'm going to jump in with every amount of cash and margin I have in my account. But until then, I'm going to trade it smart, just like I started doing with GameStop a year ago. I've made money 3 times in the last year in GameStop, buying the dip, selling the rip. You become an expert in a ticker, use your expertise. You know when it's low, you know where it's likely to go to. But if you're only just sitting still being a victim, I don't know, that it makes me angry that people are coached to do that. We're not in 2021 anymore. Michael says, I'm looking for a few companies that trade between 10 and 15. Anya says, we are not haters. I know you're not haters, Anya. I know you're not. But there are people that are listening, or people that will rewatch this, that never watch my channel and completely lie and misconstrue my message over the last year or 18 months because they just don't pay attention. They have a false narrative in their head about what I've been saying, what I've been trying to teach. Everybody was bullish in 2021. I started using #evolve for a reason, because you can't be static in a play. You can't go find foxhole and dig in and saying, I'm never changing my mission. No, if you got to pull back and recalculate the mission, that's what you do as a trader. And that's what I am. I only have a certain tolerance for losing money. Like I said, thank God Ape came along and gave us the opportunity to fix some of that. But I want y'all to be here. We want to fix market corruption. We want to expose if there are any naked shares or synthetics or corruption, whatever. Maybe West Christian will unearth something and everything will run. Who knows? That will be many, many years, guys. I want you to be here for years. You know how many people I've seen washed out in the last 2 years in all these different tickers? MMTLP, now Bed Bath & Beyond, they all got wiped out. BBIG got wiped out. MMAT's about to get wiped out. I mean, the list is endless. I watch all these plays. I watch all these communities. People think I only cover one stock. Far from the truth. It breaks my heart. Michael says, do you still like Finger, or have I sold? I bought last week, Michael. So I've been playing Finger options. And last week I bought shares at $4 and a couple pennies, 20, 30 cents, I forget. And I immediately sold covered calls on those to boost my income. And I don't know. I mean, it's a coin toss what's going to happen with Finger in my mind. I'm not a big believer in 200 million naked shares of Finger. I think that's bullshit. But if people think Finger is going to squeeze, then there's a chance it could run up. I think it's more likely to go down. So if it goes below $4, I will sell my shares. And I have a very small position. And then we'll see. But I would be willing to bet you a 6-pack, Michael, that over the next 6 months, maybe the next 3 months, it'll be back under $2. I just can't tell you like from day to day, week to week, what's going to happen. But look at every squeeze chart. They all do that, and then they go back to where they were or below. Every single one without exception. If it is a money-losing company. If the company can change the fundamentals, then the chart can change. Everything changes. And like I said on the call last night, because we were talking about Finger is improving their financial statements every quarter. I've been watching Finger for over a year. I was very bearish on it a year ago. I'll tell you straight up, they're getting better every quarter. But if you go read the 10 Qs, they will still tell you, in order for us to keep growing, we need to put bigger deposits with the Chinese phone companies, and we don't have the cash to do it, so we're going to have to raise money and dilute you. So I would not ignore that. I would not ignore that. There's going to be more dilution. I don't know when. Might be happening now. But I have a few hundred shares, and if it drops below 4, I'll be out. And if it runs up, beautiful. How much cash does Finger have? What do they do? They're involved in the mobile phone industry in China. As far as how much cash they have, I don't have their 10Q pulled up, but I did a video on them about a month ago. So go watch that video. I give you all the deets. Yeah, Patriot Mullen. Mullen was one of those ones where all the clues were in the 10 Qs and the dilution filings, the prospectus. But if you weren't reading those or watching my videos, I've been giving you the clues on Mullen for a year. And I bet the comments in those are hilarious. You're wrong. It's going to $10. It's going to $100. Going to $1,000. Everything that was going to happen with Mullen, for someone that can be unemotional about it and just read the filings, very obvious what was going to happen. Mullen will be fixed if and when they get into meaningful production. Until then, it's just a furnace for your money. So I hope they get into production. I don't know if they will. I'm not in charge over there. For all of you that are underwater on Mullen, that's what you need. You need them to produce tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of vehicles. And you can look at, I've been covering the other EV companies, and I've been covering their numbers, right? They're in the tens of thousands, like on year 2 or 3. Can you wait 3 years more of losing money on Mullen while they get to tens of thousands? I don't know if you can. So I'd be very careful on who you believe, who you listen to on Mullen. EV startups are very difficult. They cost a lot of money. Mullen's going to need a lot of money. And so that's why I'm not in that play. All right, ladies and gents. I love you. I do honestly hate to see you guys losing money. I'd like to teach you how to be a little more cautious, how to read the filings. I'm always here to answer your questions. No charge in the comments on the videos and the live streams. I try and read and answer as many comments as I can. For those of you that want to see more of that, supporting the channel with hitting that join button on YouTube or on Patreon, that is appreciated. If not, I'll still be here. I'm not Super Chat Matt that only reads Super Chats. We've been here 3 hours reading without one fucking Super Chat, to my knowledge, answering questions. So, anyways, I know it's not always popular. I know I make a lot of people angry. But it's not about clout for me. It's not about anything other than trying to share 30 fucking years of doing some things right and some things wrong. And trying to help you as best I can. Will I get everything right? I will not. But I think those who've been with me on this journey for the last few years know that we've got way more right than we've got wrong. So I thank you for watching. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your patronage. Thank you for sharing the channel. And we will see you on the next one.
So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away.